Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. As I had a quick introduction, and most of you told me, most of you told me that you have just seen or you just heard probably about the last webinar, but unfortunately weren't able to join. Is what I'm guessing. Um, Yeah. So I was thinking that as I shared, so can you, Sneha, can you just share once more the brochure of the webinar one? Not the brochure, I mean the workshop brochure, sorry. Other brochure. Yeah. So this is basically why the aim or uh, why we thought of why we thought of arranging a webinar to basically understand how um how to heal and bond in relationship through emotions. How can you help couples work with attachment-based work, right? So this is the initiative that me and my team have taken to help you understand and how couple work can actually be more essential using the attachment-based model, right? And we will be taking you ahead and giving you details about the theme in today's webinar, from the workshop, what I will be covering in major details and will be teaching yours. I will be covering only small crush in the webinar today. I'm just going to share the PPT. Yes. Is this PPT visible? You can give me a thumbs up. Is the PPT visible? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ananya. Ananya, Monica, thank you very much. So while I present, I really can't see any listening. So make sure that, oh, Devashri also says, thank you, Devashri. Okay. Yeah. So basically, this is the attachment study. Mm. The topics to be covered today is negative interaction cycle that usually couples get stuck in, right? And these negative interaction cycles are usually seen in their arguments, in their fights. So, how can we track them? How can we understand them? How can we make the couple more aware about it so they can make changes in their interactions? Then we also have therapist interventions related to couple work specifically. Then we have Q&A questions. Now here there is a twist, a little bit of twist. So me and Neha thought that we should just make it more interactive. So question and answer definitely will be open for you guys to ask questions and doubts. We have also prepared some questions that you can sit and reflect on for a couple of minutes and maybe we can just help you answer all of them together if you have any doubts, right? And most of these questions can be actually answered while uh, if you enroll yourself in the workshop as well, if you're currently working with couples. All right. So here is what um, okay. So here is what negative cycle looks like, or what is negative cycle that we are basically tracking and understanding in couple work. Now, negative cycle is a repeating pattern that keeps a couple stuck, right? keep a couple stuck in a conflict or an argument, and they lose that emotion, and there is an emotional difference or a disconnection. Okay. Now, when it comes to attachment based work, for most of you, the attachment based work is or the principle of attachment styles that we do, right? Or attachment strategies, or that we also call the anxious, avoidant, disorganized. I'm sure most of you have had this understanding of what these are, right? So, our main work is with these attachment styles and see to track the to track the partner's attachment style in this cycle and what is the repeating pattern that this couple gets into, right? It prevents couples from solving problems and blocks emotional closeness and connection. Now there is a repetition, right? So if the part, if the people, if the two, if the couple is constantly engaged in this negative cycle, it's really difficult for them to actually look at the concerning problem that they are solving together, right? And with the emotional closeness, the connection is really disrupted. Now, understanding these cycles is very, very important. Understanding and awareness of the cycle helps the couple to communicate in a better and a healthier way. So this is the entire landscape of how we are going to teach you, like how I am going to teach you how to track these negative cycles in the workshop of attachment based couples. So where we take the couple from this repeated conflicting pattern to more problem solving, emotional and healthier relationship. Yes. Yeah. Any doubts or any queries still here? Any queries, doubts? You can feel free to because I think I can see myself in a little corner. So Sneha, if anybody wants to ask me anything, please feel free to ask them to mute themselves and raise their hand. I can only see Ananya and Sneha as of now. Here I don't really see anybody. No. Okay. Any questions on this slide? So this in the workshop will be covered in a more it will be constructed more. We will be teaching you how to run the cycles, what is the cycle, what are the aims of the cycle, how to understand the attachment patterns, and how to go from a disconnection to a more connection that the couples will experience in the later half of the therapy. Any questions you have? Anybody? Questions, doubt, clarifications, anything?
I don't think there is.
Oh,
We
there is
can.
one question. Yeah, can you help me with that?
No, there is no
Yeah,
questions.
no
We can
questions.
continue.
Devashri, please. Oh, sure. Thank you, sir. Um, oh, now this is something that I want you all to understand that this is the, oh, sorry. This is something that we actually do and understand in the couple workshop that what is this cycle? Have you seen like an infinity, like in tattoo? Most people make this infinity tattoo or this infinity, that logo of infinity. We call it negative cycle. Now, what is this negative cycle? Okay. So as I said earlier, the negative cycle, basically in attachment based work, we look at these two parts, which is avoidant and anxious. Okay. And when we track the cycle, this is something that we look at. When it comes to anxious partners, protest. So in then arguments, what is the protest? What is the accuse? How are they criticizing? What is the questions and what is the demand? Usually, when we understand an anxious argument pattern is based on these that I'm highlighting here. When we look at another partner who also is in the argument, but the behavior pattern is either defending, dismissing, shutting down, or escaping, or either distracting, right? So these, the first half, can you just see the first half here is basically an overlay of how we are going to track the cycle, right? Second, we go down and understand what is the protective emotions that are going to come in the cycle. Okay, so one partner is protesting, accusing, criticizing. You don't listen to me. I am the one who's doing these, etc., etc. things. The other partner is defending, shutting down as per their attachment strategy. Now, we also look at these protective emotions. The protective emotions here is basically your attachment injuries or your attachment related work. I am angry. I am feeling unheard. I'm feeling invalid. Right? The protective emotion of an avoiding partner is basically frustration, defeated, or anxiety. Now, what we do once we, Narayan, I did something. It's so bad. Oh, it's going up. It's going up. Please be with me. Please be with me. Okay. So here what happens, we use a line of consciousness. Now, we take the couple, when we track a cycle, we understand the behavior with each of the partners, we understand their protective emotions in each of the partner, we understand their vulnerable emotions. Now, an anxious partner is usually scared, shamed, or sad, right? At the same time, again, a vulnerable emotion of an avoidant partner could also be the same. Okay? And what we work with is the unmet needs. That's your major role of attachment based work. Your attachment based work with couples is to help them connect with each other via their unmet needs, longingness, and fears, making each of them accessible to each of their unmet needs, longingness, and fears, and how they can feel more secure and protected in this relationship. So this is basically that I will be teaching you all in the workshop. That's how do we track this negative cycle. So we will be going from understanding the behaviors to how do they protect themselves and their vulnerable emotions. Underneath all of this is the unmet needs, right? Any doubts, clarifications, questions, thoughts? Yeah, I can't access anybody. Any doubts, questions? Ananya, do you have a question? Yes.
So, if underneath the line of consciousness, the vulnerable emotions are same for both the partners, what is making the manifestation so different?
manifestation is different because you mean the attachment strategy is different.
Yeah, the protective emotions and the behaviors particularly.
Yes, that is different. So vulnerable emotions are these. These are the vulnerable emotions. But to access to the vulnerable emotions, first we need to understand the protective and the behavior part as well. So the vulnerable emotions can be really the same, but my way of reacting or my way of reaching out to my vulnerable emotions to be met or my unmet needs to be met are the first half of the line that I told you. That I will show in a behavior way and I'll try to protect it. I will so the entire point is this vulnerable emotions to be felt connected. Like one partner is understanding other partner's vulnerable emotion and unmet needs and not just looking at the behavior and the protective emotions, right? What the partners see is that my wife shouts, accuses, and my husband shut down or just accuses me.
Hmm.
From that, we are going to take them to understanding the protective emotion and the later two, which is mainly our work.
Mhm.
Making them aware of this entire infinity cycle that I just told you, if that makes sense.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions, queries, doubts, thoughts that are coming up?
We
Do we have a question? Huh? I
we
saw.
have a question.
Does this only occur in avoid an anxious combination? Yes, there is possibility. So basically, when it comes to attachment styles, based work, avoidant, anxious, disorganized is the work that we usually do, right? So there are chances that it can occur in different ways, but our forte work is only on these lines when it comes to attachment base. So either avoidant, anxious, and disorganized. These are the three things that the couple might show. And that is also a very important way to understand which partner is anxious and which partner is avoidant. Next time.
Ria, we have another question.
I read that. Can we work with couples if they aren't ready to accept their attachment is anxious avoidance? That's a very good question, Manasri. We do have people, or we even with individual work, or even with couple work for that matter, people do get reluctant, or people do get a bit scared about the fact that, oh no, if mine is an anxious attachment, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? Or am I too much? If you've heard this statement, my husband or wife thinks I'm too much, or the avoidant relationship. See, I think the psychoeducation is very important. Now, it might take some time to make them understand that these are some experiences in the childhood that has probably, or that has helped. No, wait, it's more like the childhood experiences have led to the way we respond to our relationships, right? Which does not mean that something is wrong with y'all. It's more of a psychoeducative way that we can help the client understand that having an attachment strategy or a style is not wrong. It is just a way that we respond to our emotions that are heavy. Psychoeducation is a masterpiece. Like I remember I was working with a client who was just 18 when I started working with him, he was 18 and I think now he's at 21. It took me a lot of time to make him understand what is anxious attachment and what is the way, and how is it formed, and a lot of psychoeducation helps them to just make them more aware and connect with themselves and just to normalize I hope I have answered your question honestly. Yeah. Can person's attachment change? Attachment what can definitely be restructured. They can definitely feel more secure in the relationship that they are in. Now, if we are talking about couple work, so like completely if we are focusing on couple work, person's attachment can be changed in a way that they can better cope with their attachment style. Now, for example, if I have an anxious attachment style and my partner has an avoidant one, we know even though these are the way that we respond to our emotions and feelings, etc., we can cope up in a better way. And as I'm showing you this cycle, we both are aware of what are our behaviors, what are our protective, and what are our vulnerable and unmet needs. So that is the way that actually the person can feel more secure in the relationship. Is it clear, Manasi? Any more further questions, doubts? But at a deeper level, we can't feel secure. At a deeper level, it will take some time. The deep work is something that we actually aim at when we look at attachment-based work. Because the attachment injuries my darling has been so much over the years with childhood experience, other experiences, that people might find it difficult to find a secure base or to rely on my partner or to rely on their partner. This is a very, and even like when I start working with my couple, I tell them that it's a long process. It's not like a 1 day injury, or it's not like, oh, I was hit by the car 2 days back, now I'm all sorted and running. No, it's not gonna be that easy, right? It is gonna take a lot of time. I think telling them that it's going to take some time, and how you can access to your how the other partner and vice versa can and access to these unmet attachment needs and make the relationship very more secure. You're getting what I'm saying? The, each partner says to this chart that I'm showing you, vulnerable and unmet needs. The access is a opening door for secure relationship. Okay. Any more doubts and questions? Thank you, Manasi.
Ria, before you answer this question, can I just ask you, could you like put your earphone near your mouth? It might help us better to hear you.
I have a earplug, my love. I don't have the
Hmm?
um
I think उसमें he intact होता है, तो maybe one you can keep it here so that we can hear you
this
much.
way. This
Yeah.
way. Helps.
Is it better, guys? Could you say something?
Yeah, say
Yeah.
something. Yeah, say
Is it better, Moita? Moita's looking at me. Trying to understand.
yeah, it's much better. No, actually,
You
it's
see?
much
It
better
is?
because you know what, when you're speaking, there are this noise. There's a noise coming. So now it's much
Oh,
better.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So thank you, Sneha. That really helps. Okay. Yes. So did I miss anything or should we go ahead?
We have a question
Okay.
by
Okay.
Paulme. Could
Okay.
you please define these protective emotions? Aren't they hindering the relationship between the two?
Yes, exactly. So these are the protective emotions. And what are these protective emotions? These protective emotions are basically, I am scared to show my vulnerable emotions or my so they are not So first step, we have to make them aware about what are their unmet needs, and they are scared to show their vulnerable emotions, right? And the fact that these vulnerable emotions are so difficult to access or to let the other person know that, oh, I'm feeling scared or I'm feeling sad. What we humans do is we use a protective emotion. And yes, aren't they hindering the relationship? Am I right? Is that the question? Yes, it is. It is. It is. Because here it is only the protective factor that is coming up. And the protective factor can be misled by the partner. And again it is going to go into a behavior protective. The couple is again going to linger only between these two parts and not go to the other half that I'm talking about. Making sense?
So, Ria,
Yes,
I'll,
Moita.
I'll just add to it. Actually, you know what? We call it the primary and the second emotion. So, ये जो protective emotions हैं, like anger, ये दिखते हैं. जो vulnerable है वो दिखते नहीं है. So, I think
Correct.
that's they are visible, and behind it is the vulnerable emotion which we have to help them see, right? That is the so
Absolutely.
actually, yeah, we call it primary and secondary. That is the difference.
Absolutely. There is
Ab-
what primary, secondary, Moita, and there's also reactive emotions as
There are
well.
different names, na.
There are different
But
names,
you've
but
made very nice slides you've made, Ria. Very
thank
nice.
thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So, thank you so much. I think going ahead, we will any more questions on this slide, or shall we move ahead? So this is basically this all will be covered in more depth, in more understanding, a lot of case discussions, a lot of working with actual couples and how this is done basically. So before going ahead to the other half of the webinar, I was thinking, could we just see a video, okay? And in that video, we could see that I am not asking you to do the vulnerable and unmet emotions. Let's not do that. I just want you to see the behavior and protective emotions. Okay? Now, protective emotions, as Moita said, could be protective emotions, secondary emotions, primary emotions, reactive emotions. Right? So let's just follow this chart that I have presented here. And let's just understand what is in the video. And if you can make out that is there any cycle that is coming up. Okay, that's it. We will not access to the other half, only the first half, behavior and protective emotion. Make sense? Okay. Yes. Is that a thumbs up from everybody? Okay, so yeah, I need your help. Blah, 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 blah. I got very okay. Polemy says, Devasti says, okay, fantastic. Mm, Give me a moment, guys, while I share the. Is it visible?
No.
It isn't. Okay, let's try this and see. Now, yeah, I'm gonna try, and if it's I think it's happened. If if it's lagging from my end, then I will request you to do it from your end. Okay? Right. Again, just the first half, just the behavior and the protective emotions. If you notice, this is a session of two partners who have come in a couple therapy. Okay. I also want you to do just one more task. Sneha, can you just put it in the chat box what all they have to do? They have to just observe and notice behavior and protective. That is the cycle. And second, if you can understand what therapist intervention is the therapist is doing. Is the therapist doing any specific intervention that you observe? That's it. Just do.
Have you started the video?
Not yet, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, it's moving. You paused it again, yeah, I guess. No, it's still ready. Sorry. We cannot hear it.
Ria, we can't hear.
You are on mute, Ria.
One thing that Judy has,
Try talking with Judy and telling her what you want to get out of therapy here.
we've got to get your anger under control. This is getting ridiculous.
Oh, we have to get my anger under control. That's why we're here. That's why you think we're here? No.
To come to grips with the fact that even the smallest discussion escalates into an argument based on the fact that you can't seem to handle your anger.
Oh, why
hold
don't-
on,
no,
hold
no,
on just a
see-
sec here. Hold on.
It's because of his failure to commit to something that's very important to me.
So you're saying that for you, there's something that you're wanting him to commit to.
Yes,
What is it that you want?
to have a family. He can't commit to that at all.
Tell me about your feelings about having a family.
Rather than allow Judith to speak for Richard, I invite him to express his viewpoint.
Myself, I love having a big family. I just don't think that this is the time to have a child yet.
Why isn't this the time to have a child? When is it?
Because-
When I'm 45 years old, Richard?
Please.
Hold on. How frequently do you get this upset at home?
I would
lot.
say frequently.
Even when I'm trying to understand the diagnostic
And
picture,
if I had
I don't
you
allow
do
fights
just
to
now,
escalate.
What would have been the next step?
Well, he probably would have left the room because he doesn't want to talk about it.
And you would have,
Well, I would have kept talking about it. I don't just run away. I talk about things.
so
It's-
you would have tried to keep talking about
Yes.
things. And is her hunch accurate? Would you have tried to leave the room, or what would you
Not
have
because
done?
I don't want to talk about it, but because it's the tone. It's the this. She comes at me with
Wait,
gangbusters.
Hold on just a sec. Hold on.
So this other part is basically now how the couple understood their cycle and now they are having a conversation in a much softer way, right? So they're reaching out to each other in a much softer way.
Need some sort of timetable so I know, what I'm dealing with.
I know that you need that timetable. And I'm not sure I know how to get to that position.
I can see you're a little bit stuck. Let me offer some ideas that might help loosen things up. Let's see, Judith, you say you need something more concrete, some sort of a timetable. You're saying you still have this inner feeling of needing some more timing. And we don't want it to be another postponement. Wait, you're both looking at me as if I'm going to come up with it. I'm afraid I said
I sure hope so.
I realized I had almost fallen into the trap of rescuing them from their own decision-making. People generally know what's best for themselves, and they will feel more ownership of the solution if it comes from them.
And you're being completely honest with yourself. Are you going to move ahead towards having a children?
Okay. So I think other than the second half, we just saw that they have just mellowed themselves. That's it, right? The second one. Okay. Now coming back to the major question, then you have some doubts. Okay. So coming back to so also I just wanted to pitch in. I just wanted to tell you before we go ahead. Um, thing is that we might have to extend for another 5 minutes if that's okay with everyone. Another 5 to 6 minutes. Yeah, we might have to extend the webinar for another 5 to 6 minutes if everyone is okay with that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, if you would like to feel free to speak up and put it in the chat box, however. So in the first half, let's just see the first half of the video because that was something that was important. The first half says observe behavior and protective cycle. And so could you see what the couple was doing while they were, let's say, protecting themselves, number one, and what were some behaviors that you were able to notice? Let's just give it a try. It's okay. We're just learning. It's a space of learning. And what are some interventions that a therapist is doing here? That is something that I'm going to touch in another few minutes. So if you could observe, if you have observed anything from the earlier chart that I've shared, share that once more here. Yeah. If you could see anything from here, we are only going to talk about these two, okay? And these two, just this half, this part. Did you notice anything happening with the wife or with the husband? So, any specific thing that they were fighting on, did you notice that? Yeah, I wanted to keep an eye on the chat if I miss out any because while I present, I can't see the chat.
Uh, may I say, Ria?
Yes, Mohita. Is Mohita speaking?
Yeah.
Got your voice.
Yeah, so the first thing I noticed was that, of course, she was quite irritable and angry also. The
Mhm.
thing I found very interesting was that the husband says, "What is the goal we've come here?" He says the goal is so that you get your anger in control. Now, that was the most interesting thing. His goal for therapy was that. So I think the therapist has to intervene there. And the cycle was very clear. He was the withdrawer because she says, "What did he do?" She says he leaves the room. And
Yeah.
she was the anxious. Yeah, she was the pursuer.
Okay. So according to you, so the goal is what? So according to you, the husband says that correctly that we have come here for your anger.
Yeah.
So the wife is the pursuer, and that's anxious. Pursuer is anxious, and the husband is withdrawer, which
He's
is
a withdrawer.
avoidant. Yeah,
Yeah, avoid
that
it.
is
Yeah.
avoidant, right?
Huh.
Okay. So now she is angry, right? And
Hmm.
accuses maybe she's angry. It's the behavior.
Yeah.
Any behavior that is specifically no. So with the husband, he's defending that's first half, and he's also cutting down. And there is also, sorry, there's also an escape. He leaves the room.
He leaves the
If
room. Yeah.
you, if
That's
yeah,
his, yeah.
okay,
That's his
fantastic.
action tendency. Yeah.
That is action tendency. Fantastic. Any protective emotion that you could just sense in her that is coming up? Protective emotion.
Hers was anger and irritation, no? That was a protective emotion.
Okay, fair, fair. Anything for the husband? Anything that you noticed?
I think I let others speak also.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. Anybody else? Yeah, can you just check the chat box if somebody has put in anything?
Yeah, so Paulme has put in, I will read that for you. Both of them seemed anxious attachment style individual. They are blaming, accusing each other, leading to feeling unheard of their own side of the picture.
Right.
Intervention seemed like building insight to how the other person feels when the other individual shares their perspective.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Colin. I think here you have gotten the therapist intervention and you have also gotten the specific emotions that you saw here in the behavior and the protective emotion. But the understanding part is the anxious and the avoidant were very different. Like the emotions you have caught very well, the interventions also you have caught amazing. It's just that anxious partner and avoidant partner, I think you got a bit confused there. But overall, it was amazing. I think thank you so much for sharing. Yes, anybody else? We could go to the next one.
Ria, I have a question if I can ask. So I was just
Assuming.
curious, l- like if the protective emotion for the husband was
Hmm.
irritation or something like that, because
Hmm.
as Mohita said,
Hmm.
ki husband started with this thing that goal of the therapy is controlling her anger. So I was just
Hmm.
curious if he feels a bit frustrated by her anger and that's the protective emotion that's coming up.
Yeah, could be. Like I am frustrated. I don't know what to do. Like her anger is so much that it could be either I feel frustrated, I feel confused, I feel anxious as well. I
Mhm.
don't know what to do with this anger of hers, right? Is
Mhm.
what he does. It could be done. Possible. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sneha. Okay. So now we're looking at therapist intervention. The last from my side for today. Definitely therapist intervention is, I will be covering the therapist intervention in detail in the workshop. So now the therapist intervention is here is to basically feel that both the couple, the very important couple intervention is for couple is both the partners have to be same for the therapy. There, that's number one. So one is name the cycles, right? That help the couple see the pattern as the problem, not each other. Slow the interaction. Primary emotions, like how Moita just said, the primary emotions. Identify right partners to express the secondary and the primary emotion instead of anger and withdrawal, which is again the protective or the secondary, whatever we call them, right? Create safety again. practice new responses. So these are some therapist interventions that mainly we follow for couple therapy, right? And one important one is, let's see if the couple is the couple, I see my couple as to be on the same page, like on the same line. So I don't let one person fall off the car. Both of them are equally important for me as both the wheels are running, like a metaphor that I'm using here. So both the people present here should equally feel validated, heard by the therapist, right? There are chances that one might feel, oh, for example, I have a female therapist, so the male might feel, oh, she's giving preference to my wife, and vice versa. I'm just giving a possibility. So, therapist intervention should be a space where you create safety. You obviously show them the real picture of the cycle, identify emotions, link behavior and needs. Then again, a very safe and a secure space for their own relationship healing. Yeah. Okay. So, any doubts on this one?
Yes, we have a question by Manasvi.
Yes,
Would
Manasvi.
protective emotions and vulnerable emotions change with the different attachment style?
They do. They do. Will or would protect? Would. Is there a would question?
Would, yeah.
Yeah. They do. Yeah. They do. When it comes to different relationships, it does. Like anxious, avoidant, 100%. They do. They do as per the dynamic of the relationship as well, and the concern that we're looking at. See, more of them, the protective emotions are again to show that I am not feeling safe, to show my vulnerability. So definitely it can be very different for people as well. Apologies for going back on that topic. Oh, that's okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So I think I have covered a little bit from my side
One more
that,
question.
yeah, okay, tell me.
And would these intervention works with all attachments, or would they change with attachment style?
I'm really not getting that question. If you could just unmute and tell me, that would be helpful. So
Hi,
what
can
I'm under hi, Manasi. Hi.
yes. So my question is that, well, you said that, right? Name the cycle, show the interactions, and all of that. Would
Mhm.
this work with all the attachment styles and relationships, or would this just work with anxious and avoidant style?
So see, when it comes, so right now, what is it? I am giving you a couple dynamic work force. This is a couple dynamic work force. What I understand is your question is, does it work with attachments, right? Yes, it does. It does.
Okay,
It
this
does.
thing.
It does help. But again, I think you will get more clarification in the workshop. Yeah.
Noted. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I will reach out after the session just to get more details on the workshop and things like that, because I just found out
Sure.
about this a couple of hours ago. So
Sure. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So you could connect with Sneha, or you could connect with me as well. I think unfortunately Mohita had to leave, so we will just send Mohita the details of the workshop as well. Okay. So thank you so much. We will just go through the workshop once, that what is the workshop going to offer right now. Okay. So, Sneha, could you just present the workshop? Sneha will help you with the workshop, please. So this is exactly this is about me and the workshop. The workshop here is going to help you to elaborate and learn almost some of the topics here covered in a more elaborative manner. And that's a little bit about me. Sneha, could you just give the overview of the program, please? Am I audible? Yeah. So the overview of the program is 8 days classes online with live classes, recordings included, question answers, and case discussions. Who can join? Preferably master students, psychology trainers, counselors, licensed therapists. Yeah. So attachment-based work offers a roadmap to help couples understand these patterns, heal old wounds, and create the secure bonds they both crave for. Yeah. So these are the day-wise topics that I will be covering. Neha, can you just elaborate? Not elaborate, just can you go through the topics once? Can you unmute and tell them the topics?
Do you want me to like just read these headings or
Yes.
everything?
No, just the headings.
Okay, so the heading goes like the signs of love, why attachment bonds matter in adult partnership, understanding conflicts in relationship, therapist intervention for stabilizing the relationships, understanding emotions, fostering new patterns of connections, and common challenges for therapists. And guys, we will share this brochure to you all. So don't worry, you can take your time and go through all the details. Yeah.
So what will you gain? Definitely therapeutic confidence, discounts and supervisions, community building, building a therapist self, especially when it comes to couples. So most of you, I believe, might be working with couples or are interested to start the couple work. I'm sure this workshop will help you. This training will help you to get an insight of how couple therapy works and how you can get hands-on experience. Sneha, if you could just put in the contact numbers, that would be helpful. So they can reach out to us, contact or emails.
Sure. 1 minute.
These are the pricing and the registrations that is there. So group and standard fee. So yeah, you can stop sharing it. That's okay. Along with this, we will be sharing the recordings, and also there are a set of questions that we have made. So if you get time, we can do. So we will be sharing the PPT, the recordings of this webinar, PPT recordings, and also some questions that if you feel you can just highlight on. Sneha, can you, and also the brochure. So via mail, you will receive the PPT, the recording for the webinar, and the questions that we have made, just for you to reflect and um, think what could be the possible thing, just to just self learning, and also the brochure. We'll be mailing you all of this. Sneha, could you just send them the brochure right away, or it will be easy?
Yeah, 1 second.
And the next webinar is going to be on the 5th of February again. The 5th of February's webinar is basically on the assessment part. Again, we'll be covering a few topics that I will be elaborating on in the couple world. So looking forward to seeing most of you on the 5th February webinar. Thank you, Dr. Coleman. Yes, please, we're just winding up in another second. Thank you so much. We will receive the mail. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Take care. Thank you, Pali. Now you can stop the recording.